Welcome to episode 14 of our ComfyUI tutorial series. Today, I will show you how to use ControlNet with Flux so you can better control your generations using an image. You can manage the pose, depth, and create cool things based on a starting image. The ControlNet model is called Flux Dev-controlnet-union Pro and is made by Shaker and InstantX. It supports a few control modes like canny, tile, depth, pose, and others. Today, I will use a few of those. If we go to the Files and Versions tab, we can find a model called Diffusion PyTorch model. Click on the Download button, and then to save it, we need to go to the ComfyUI folder, then look for the Models and the ControlNet folder. Inside, we can save the model, but it's a good idea to give it a different name. As you can see, I have the SDXL model that has the same name, so I will name this one Flux Dev-controlnet-union and click on Save. It's quite large, so wait for it to download. Open ComfyUI, go to the Manager, then Custom Nodes Manager. You need to install some custom nodes. If you followed me through all the episodes so far, you should already have them. You need the ControlNet auxiliary. You can see the author on the right for each of these nodes. You also need ComfyUI Guff. Check episode 10 to see how to download and use Guff models, and the RG3 node for labels and image comparison, as well as Control-Alt-AI for the Flux calculator to get easy-to-use ratios. Lastly, install ComfyUI Easy Use. After you install those, you can restart. Also, make sure to update ComfyUI and the nodes to ensure you have the latest updates and all the options I have. Click on the Update All button and wait for the updates to install. You can check the command window for progress. Once it's finished, you'll see a Restart button. Click on it and then on OK. ComfyUI will restart, and now I can show you how to use ControlNet with Flux. Click on the Load button and load a basic text-to-image Flux workflow, something like we did in episode 10 when we installed Guff models. My favorite is Q8, but if you don't have a lot of video RAM, then you need a smaller one like Q5 or Q4, or you can try the Schnell version, which requires fewer steps. Right now, if we generate something, we can't control much, only using the prompt to determine the pose and composition. That's where ControlNet helps. I discussed that in more detail in episode 9. I will select these nodes while holding Control to make a selection, then hold Shift and move them to the right to create some room for ControlNet, which will be placed between Flux Guidance and K-Sampler. Double-click on the canvas and add the Apply Control Net node. We previously had one with SD3 in the name, but now this one seems to work with Flux, so I will place the node there. The positive prompt goes to Flux Guidance, and now we need to connect Flux Guidance to the Apply ControlNet node. Then the Apply ControlNet node is connected to K-Sampler. Basically, we just inserted our node into that flow, like an extension. And for the negative prompt, you can click on the gray dot to open it, allowing us to connect the negative to Apply ControlNet. You can close it since we don't use the negative with Flux, which saves space. Then the negative from Apply ControlNet is connected to K-Sampler's negative. So now we have successfully inserted ControlNet into the workflow. We also need to add the ControlNet model and an image. So let's drag a connection from the ControlNet input. We can add a ControlNet loader like this Load ControlNet model node. From here, we need to select the Flux ControlNet that we downloaded and renamed. In my case, it's this one. We also need a VAE, so we connect it to the Load VAE node. Now, all that's left is the image. As usual, we add a Load Image node. We could connect directly to the image, and in some cases that might work, but we actually need it in a format that the ControlNet model was trained on. Let me show you quickly in a new canvas. I just copied the IP address in a new tab. I'm adding the load image. Then we need a preprocessor, so search for AIO, and you can find this node. Our image is connected to this preprocessor node, and then from the image output, we add a preview image or save image node. Right now, if I run the result, it would be the same because we didn't select a preprocessor from the list. I can select something like canny, for example, and this is how the resulting image would look. That's something that the ControlNet model understands. It's a map that it uses. Now we can select another preprocessor like depth or anything else, but if you've never used those before, they will download automatically. Some of you might encounter this error stating no such file or directory, and you can see it ends with the extension incomplete. This can happen for several reasons. I'm not sure of the exact cause, but here are some possible explanations. Your internet speed might be slow, and you didn't wait for the download to finish. Or the first time you tried the preprocessor, you didn't wait for it to complete and canceled the process. Additionally, there could have been an error on Hugging Face where the model was hosted at that moment. Another possible cause that has fixed the problem for others is the Windows limitation on long paths. Windows allows you to use a certain length for the path, so you could use different methods to enable long paths. One way is to go to your group policy, find the file system settings, enable long paths, and then restart Windows. What I did was to download the model that resulted in the error manually. The error message provided all the necessary information. If you read this path, you can find the actual folder, which in this case is depth anything v too large, just before the cache. In my case, this was the path mentioned in the error. Here you can see the model that didn't actually download. The name in this case was as follows. All I did was search for that model on Google, find it on Hugging Face, and download it to the folder mentioned in the error just before the cache folder. So it should look like this. It might seem complex, but check Discord. You can find screenshots there from some members who have already followed the steps and fixed their problems. If everything went well, you should see the results like this. There are more preprocessors like version 2 that I mentioned earlier, which in this case downloaded automatically. It showed some warnings, but if I waited long enough, it did everything it needed to work. And 26 seconds later, I got my depth map. Again, this happens only the first time. After that, it should be fast. Now let's see how we can implement this in the workflow. Let's add the AIO preprocessor node, then connect our image to it. We'll add a preview to ensure the preprocessor works well, and you can increase the resolution if you want. From the preprocessor, the image goes to the Apply ControlNet node. Now we've completed the workflow for ControlNet with Flux. Next, let's add an image for a test, for example, this cute bunny. For the preprocessor, let's go with depth anything. We'll describe what we want to see. In this case, I want another cartoon bunny in the same composition sitting at the table along with a donut and a bottle of juice. Now let's run this workflow. As you can see, the image is entering the preprocessor, and then we get the depth map for it. All the information, together with the prompt, goes into the Apply ControlNet node. It's like mixing all kinds of spices. Then we put that in the pot where we cook, and this is the resulting image. It looks quite ugly. We added too many spices to the pot. Ha ha ha. The problem is that the control net strength is too high. The recommended values are between 0.3 and 0.8. So let's try maybe 0.5 in this case. You can also decide when ControlNet starts and when it ends. Making it end sooner allows for less constraint, which can add more creativity to the generation. Now you can see that the images have the same composition, but are quite different from one seed to another. It depends on what you want to achieve. Try different preprocessors. For example, I can try this Canny preprocessor. However, many times when you change an image or the preprocessor, you'll likely need to adjust the Apply ControlNet settings as well. To make it easier to see all the ControlNet related nodes, I will color them brown. I'll do this quickly for all the others. Next, for the empty latent image, I want to have more control to get better results. Computers prefer values like 8, 16, or 64, so we can add a node called Flux Resolution Calculator. I'll make it purple, like the latent one. You'll see we have width and height, but we don't have the inputs on the empty latent image node. Right-click and convert width to input, and do the same for height. Now we can connect those two nodes. From the Flux Calculator node, we can select a ratio, and it will choose the best sizes for Flux based on that ratio. You have megapixel option. Theoretically, Flux can handle up to 2 megapixels, but I prefer values like 1 or 1.5 and then upscale afterward if I need a larger size. If you want to see the values for width and height, you can use a show any node, which we used in another episode to display text from prompts and so on. So it works quite well here too. Now, when I run a workflow, you can see I get the values there. From the view queue, I can cancel any generation at any time, allowing me to try another ratio, and you can see the numbers change for width and height. When you generate an image, it will have that size. Now, because I wanted to generate a portrait image and the images used for ControlNet were square, I'll end up with some cropping from the sides. So try to use a similar ratio if you want to avoid cropping. If I go to load, I can access some workflows I created that you can download for free from the Discord channel. For example, what I've done so far step by step is available in this workflow in a more organized way, along with some extra notes. From here, you can choose the aspect ratio, and you have a preview for width and height. Then you select the Flux ControlNet model, upload your image, choose a preprocessor, and then adjust the settings for ControlNet, trying values within the recommended range. If I test this workflow, I get this cute bunny that has the same composition as the original bunny, but let's test it with different images, like this futuristic building, for example. What you do next is decide on the aspect ratio and then describe how you want your image to look. Use a detailed prompt like you would with an LLM or ChatGPT to create more complex prompts. For this example, I'll keep it simple. Now let me show you what happens if you set the apply ControlNet strength to 1 and do the same for the N% to understand why you need to adjust these settings. When I test it, I get this nice depth map for the building, but the result is an ugly image. It's so constrained by the weight of ControlNet that it doesn't have much space to generate something creative. I'll change the seed to fixed just so we can compare different settings. For this seed, this is the result with weight 1. If I change the strength to 0.8, that might work for some preprocessors, but in this case, it's still too strong. You can try reducing it further or lowering the value on the N% so it ends sooner than the strength. The change was minimal, so I'll reduce the strength to around 0.5. And yes, now it looks much nicer. I sometimes prefer Depth Anything version 2. If you look at the map, you can see it looks a little different. And I got this beautiful image. If you want to give it more freedom, you can reduce it even more, but some elements will look different. You can see how the image looks compared to the results. It's a nice image, but didn't respect all the lines and forms in the original. Sometimes that's what you want. To compare better, we can use an image comparer node. I'll add that node and connect the first image we used for ControlNet to the first input, and then the generated image to the second input. Now we can easily compare the two images. I won't go into detail since we've already covered this in other episodes. With this version 2, I can go even higher with the strength. Remember, at 0.8, it was still ugly, but in this case, it still works, and the composition is quite similar. Let's try another image, like this portrait of a woman. In the prompt, I'll describe the same image, but in a cartoon portrait 3D render style. I have a workflow like this set up for you, so you can change the text before the round brackets. We've already established that using strength values that are too high won't work. As you can see, the cartoon style couldn't come out because of the ControlNet strength. If I change it to 0.7, it looks a little better. And then I can also adjust the N%, and now the 3D cartoon style is more visible. Let's try another seed, since some seeds can yield better results. I really like this one. It's quite nice. Let's change the eyes to blue and the hair to purple for another beautiful image. I'm now trying to make her look more angry, but she still looks like she's smiling. I attempted to add more emphasis to certain words by placing them in round brackets, but the ControlNet was too powerful. So I reduced the N% to 0.1, and I started to see some results. Then I tried to depict her as if she were screaming, but instead it looked like she was constipated. I did all these tests to see how each setting influences the result, and sometimes you just need to play with the settings to see how what works. I'm reducing the strength to 0.45, and now she really looks like she's screaming. I can hear her saying in an angry voice, "What took you so long?" Let's try another one that I did for text. I'm uploading this image, which is just black text on a white background. You can use any colors as long as there's good contrast between them. I used Canny as the preprocessor. And then I described the prompt. A good prompt can produce nice results, so make sure you try a few variations. In this case, these settings worked well for me. Now let's test it. Look how cool this is. To do this in 3D takes a while to model and render, but now we can get this from a simple image. How amazing is that? Now, even though they say it's Flux Dev-controlnet, I've tested a few with Schnell, not all, but for what I tested, it seems to work well with Schnell. Make sure to change the steps. It needs about 4 or 6 steps to work, unlike Dev, and obviously it's much faster than Dev with quite nice results, so it's worth a try. Here's another workflow with Dev, but this time I created some simple buttons. I added a prompt that describes what I want to see, and these are the results I got. I could play more with the prompts, but all the testing and recording have already taken too much time. However, you get the idea. You can do really cool stuff with it. Here's another workflow where I tested the pose preprocessor. This one only works with people, so I used a photo of this woman. I applied the Openpose preprocessor, and for strength, I needed a fairly high value, while I reduced the N% to allow for more creativity. In the prompt, I described a digital painting of a warrior woman with purple hair. You can see that it successfully captured the pose of the woman. The skeleton has the face and one arm, but it's missing the other arm. Let's see what we can get. Not bad. We get the woman in the same pose. For some seeds, it was a little different. I'm not sure if that was due to the missing hand or if sometimes Openpose fails. However, most of the time, it worked well. So, play around and see what you can create. I want to sincerely thank our Legend members and everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube membership. Your support means so much to this channel. If you found this tutorial useful, don't forget to leave a like and a comment. That would really help me out. Thanks again and have an amazing day. See you on Discord.